Hi, I'm Dr. George Yancey. Let's share some paradigms. Our show today is voting and the Christian ethic. So, a couple months ago, Supreme Court made a decision on the Voting Rights Act. And I wanted to take my time to approach this. So I didn't want to rush out a video. I wanted to look through the decision a little bit and think through some of the issues, because I think this is a situation that calls for more nuance than what we usually get from our talking heads. So now I want to talk about this because I want to talk about it in a broader context than this decision. I think what we're seeing is reflective of some of the problems we have in our society as Christians and as a society when it comes to voting rights. Let's be honest about this. Both the Republicans and the Democrats, are using this for their own political advantage. Clearly, the decision, which has allowed the Republicans to get rid of some of the majority minority districts and thus increase their ability to win more seats, clearly the Republicans are using it for their own political advantage. But you can say the same thing about the Democrats as well, that they too want to use this to their own political advantage to try to gin up more support, you already see some of the advertisings and talking points to get people mad and vote against the Republicans and things of this nature. So both of them are using it for their own political advantage, which is what we should expect. The organized Republican Democrat Party, their goal is to win elections. Their goal is not to promote the best moral outcome. I repeat, that is not their goal, to promote the best moral outcome. It's to win elections. And what's disturbing is that the Voting Rights Act is connected to a great moral issue in our society, which is race. Whether you like it or not, that is a big moral issue. It's a big stain in our history, and it continues to impact us in our society. I wish I could say that what we're seeing is people trying to figure out the best path forward for everyone, people of color included, whites included. But that's not what's happening. It's just another political football for us to talk about. Morality is determined by partisanship than by what's right or wrong. If you enjoy this conversation, please like it. If you like this channel, check it out, and please consider subscribing. The Voting Rights Act, let's think about this. All right, it came at a time where there was a lot of overt racism. Very overt. There were poll taxes where African Americans were taxed because their grandparents couldn't vote. There were literacy tests that were used to screen out African Americans. And there was violence. There was violence against voting. You try to vote, you could wind up with a crossbar in your yard. That's the atmosphere the Voting Rights Act was passed. And that atmosphere is written in such a way to make sure that African Americans had a voice in the government. The Voting Rights Act makes total sense. Now, the argument is that we don't live in that sort of society today. Overt racism has been done away with. Do we have to make sure that blacks have to have their voice? And does the voice have to serve a certain political party? Because let's face facts, the Voting Rights Act ensured that Democrats would have a certain floor in mostly southern states that they would not go below. They may not win a lot of seats, but they're going to win at least one or two. I think that there is a value in a nuanced discussion on this. I do not believe that the need for African Americans to have a voice in our society has gone away. I do not believe that all of the institutional problems linked to our political institutions have disappeared. But I will assert that this sort of overt type of racism is no longer the issue. Given that that's the case, it is reasonable to think that we don't need all of the provisions of the Voting Rights Act. And that maybe a nuanced understanding of how we could rewrite the act would be valuable. Good luck in that nuanced discussion in our partisan, polarized society. I don't know I'm not a lawyer. I don't know exactly what it would look like. I think we could find a way in which we could still protect African Americans, but maybe not go to all of the extreme measures that we did before. But we're not going to have that discussion, are we? Because our partisan politics gets in the way. So we need this nuanced discussion. We're not going to get it. What can we as Christians do? The law is the law, and it's going to be what it's going to be. What we can do, though, is try to promote having this nuanced discussion. I've talked in some of my other videos about how we can discuss racial issues with a collaborative conversations approach. We can find ways to listen to others, to find out where their needs are, and to address those needs. Now, more than ever, we need that collaborative conversations approach. An issue like this one begs for that. I think we as Christians should be promoting that. What this means is not immediately running to our partisan corner, looking at the other team and going, it's your fault. What we need to do is learn how to listen to others and figure out how we can move forward. Probably, if we did that, no one's going to get everything that they want. The Republicans are happy right now because on this issue, they can whatever they want. The day will come where they're not in power. Then Democrats will be the ones who say, we're going to get all that we want. Neither solution is going to be lasting. For a lasting solution, we need to have better conversations and figure it out. I believe it, and I have other videos that show why I believe this. This is the Christian approach. Understanding our human depravity, understanding our own limitations, and try to move forward on that. Such a discussion would be honoring to God and I think beneficial to our country. So, what should we do as Christians? Promote a better discussion, be willing to see where others are coming from, and most importantly all, stop the partisan bickering, lower the temperature. If the rest of society is not going to do it, it's incumbent upon us Christians to lower that temperature. Well, thanks, and please come back. We can share some more paradigms.